Welcome to another edition of Basagan Trip. I'm Leloy Claudio. I teach history and literature at De La Salle University. As always, kung meron kayong komento, meron kayong gustong pag-usapan, meron kayong suggested topic, or gusto niyo lang ako i-troll, tweet me at Leloy Claudio. I'll jump straight into the topic for today. Ang topic natin today is yung mga legal reforms na magandang gawin in the age of Duterte. Whatever that means, in the age of drugs, in the age of drug killings, in the age of vigilante killings, what have you. And in order for me to discuss this topic, I brought on board my favorite lawyer, actually my best friend, who is a lawyer at the Romulo Law Offices. He's a senior associate there. Welcome for the first time to Basagan Trip. Best man ako sa kasal nito, si Glenn Tuazon.
Okay.
Hello.
Thank you for having me. Siguro, part of my introduction, sinabi mo nagtuturo ka ng history sa La Salle, ako nagtuturo naman ng international law sa Ateneo.
Okay.
So medyo may konting blue-green contrast tayo, Chief.
Pero tayong Atenista.
Well, that's true.
So you're doing legal research right now, and one of the things that you're involved in is thinking about legal reform, in particular legal reform that relates to yung myriad of problems that have arisen because of the advocacies of Duterte and because of the problems that he naman talaga is trying to address in his own strange, murderous way, which is drug problems. So, what kind of reforms have you been thinking about?
Actually, before we talk about the kind of reforms, we have to set a premise.
Okay.
Kasi may lumabas na survey, third quarter and fourth quarter last year ng SWS, sinabi that 70% of Filipinos still support the war on drugs.
Okay.
Ngayon, madalas sa survey, pag tinatanong sila, at meron ngang article na lumabas dito sa Rappler, no? Ni Ayi Makaraig. At ang findings ay, maraming sumusuporta sa drug war because they feel that justice before the courts is a useless remedy. So sinasabi nila, ay pagkatagal-tagal naman yung mga kaso, bakit pa na, parang mabuti na lang siguro na napatay na lang itong si accused X. Or suspect pa nga lang.
So the reason why people are effectively allowing for mass murder is because they're so disillusioned with the courts.
That's true. Kasi, well, sa totoo naman, hindi ito kasinungalingan, no? And there's basis for that. I've been a lawyer for 8 years, pushing 9 years. And I'm handling a case that was filed in 1988.
Oh my God, okay.
A case in 2001, and that's par for the course. Okay. Hindi unheard of na 5, 6, 7 years matapos ang kaso dito. So, yun ang premise ko, no? That people are disenchanted with the speed of the justice system. So, they are looking at, kaya nga yung term, extralegal, extrajudicial. And ang meaning naman ng extrajudicial is labas ng hudikatura, di ba?
So kung gusto natin manumbalik ang pagtiwala ng mga tao sa hudikatura, ang pwede natin gawin is pabilisin yung legal system. So pasok na tayo. Paano natin pabibilisin ang legal system natin?
Sige. Actually, maraming solusyon dyan, no? I have been privileged to also sit in a few meetings nung ating Competitiveness Council dito sa Pilipinas na as part of the representative ng private sector, seeking recommendations on how to speed it up. At sa totoo naman, no, yung Supreme Court natin has taken some steps on judicial reform para bumilis. And I'll outline just very briefly yung mga recent developments. Kunwari, kung naaalala nyo, di ba sa TV, pag tinatanong ang witness on direct examination, usually question and answer yan. At tumatagal kasi may objection pa yan. Ngayon, yung direct examination or question and answer ng witness, nasa papel na. Yung tinatawag na judicial affidavit. Ang oral na lang ay cross-examination. Okay. That was a development by the Supreme Court in 2012.
Okay.
So that's something that made things go faster. Pero hindi pa rin ganun kabilis because I'm gonna point at one fact that people may overlook. That half or almost half or around half of the cases pending before our courts are just composed of 2 crimes.
Ano?
Bouncing checks, which is a criminal case under a Marcosian issuance BP 22, Batas Pambansa 22, and Dangerous Drugs Act cases. Kalahati. So if you look at these 2 particular kinds of cases,
sila nagpapabagal talaga sa korte natin.
Because the courts are so clogged, Leloy, no? Ako bilang abogado, minsan hearing ko January 2019. Ang susunod na scheduled hearing ko June 2019. Kung may hindi dumating sa abogado,
reschedule ulit.
Okay yung judge on leave. Reschedule ulit. Yung June, naging Oktubre, naging Nobyembre. Ano na nangyari sa hustisya?
Bakit yun yung dalawang kasong bumabara sa mga korte natin?
Ayun. Unang-una yung bouncing checks. No? It's interesting to talk about that, but I won't focus on that. It's a criminal case. yun yung isa sa tinatawag natin, and this is the fancy Latin phrase, malum prohibitum. Meaning, it is punished not because it is necessarily evil, but because it is illegal. So, pag mag-issue ka ng bouncing check at tumalbog, kaya nga bouncing check, tumalbog, at sinabi sa'yo nung bangko, sinabi sa'yo nung dumidemanda sa'yo, oh, bayaran mo within 5 days and you fail to do so, that's a criminal case.
I see.
So for me nga, dapat siguro para ma-declog yung criminal courts natin, baka kailangan maging purely civil na lang yan. And some courts have taken the stance na civil lang. At pag sinabi civil, danyos lang. No? And many courts naman have taken that stance, but it doesn't prevent lawyers and litigants from filing bouncing check cases.
How about abroad? Bouncing checks, hindi naman criminal case, di ba?
Nag-move na ho ang mas maraming sa jurisdictions around the world away from treating it as a criminal act.
Okay, so that's an easy solution, ha?
That's one very easy solution. It takes
Very
an amendment.
low-hanging fruit. So, yun nga, sino pwedeng mag-solve nun?
Siyempre, pwedeng
Kongreso.
magkaroon ng amendment from the Congress. Although it is a batas pambansa issued by Marcos, that was the time when Marcos still had legislative powers. Pero siyempre ngayon, ang ating legislatura ay ang Kongreso, it's Congress that should do it. Although the Supreme Court can also tell judges to refrain from
I see.
implementing imprisonment, although that won't prevent you from filing.
Okay, so let's move on from that low-hanging fruit. The other one, yung mas contentious.
Yeah.
You said that yung isa pa nagpapaklag ng case, ng court dockets is yung drug cases.
Yung drug cases natin. Okay, and that's a good point to raise, Leloy, no? Kasi, okay, ang premise natin dito ay marami sa mga drug user natin ay biktima rin ng sistema.
Right.
Many of them have resorted to using dangerous drugs or consuming dangerous drugs, not because they have a criminal intent, but because of the surrounding system siguro, or kung saan sila pinalaki sa environment. And more countries have treated them as people to cure rather than criminals to convict. Di ba, napag-usapan natin, maybe outside in another conversation, walang gumagana na drug war, di ba? Meron ka atang episode dito sa Basagan ng Trip.
Oh, wala naman nakikinig, pero okay lang.
Hindi. Yun. Sino ba si Thaksin sa Thailand, di ba? Hindi gumana. And of course, yung mga classic examples natin from South America, di ba? Ayan. So, okay, so that's the premise. Perhaps we should treat them as people to cure or people to treat or to help rather than criminals to convict. And in fact, yung 9165, Republic Act 9165, no, our Dangerous Drugs Act, has one provision, this Section 15. Section 15 says, ang use of drugs, hindi ka dapat kinukulong.
Oh.
Kailangan kang i-rehabilitate, pero may problema. Ang nakalagay ay, kung ikaw ay drug user, pero the moment na nahulihan ka, may possession ka rin ng drugs, hindi use of drugs, which i-charge sa'yo. I-charge sa'yo ay possession of drugs. Ang possession of drugs, life imprisonment, kapatid. So, ang layo, di ba? Kung user ka, pwede kang i-rehabilitate. Pero the moment
So, ganito to
ka ng
ka-absurdo. Theoretically, kung may nahuling may drugs, nakita may drugs, nandiyan na yung police, ang gagawin niya, hihititin na lang niya yung drugs. Para sabi niya, hindi ako, wala akong possession, gumagamit ako, user ako. Ganun ba? Ganun lang yun?
Kung gusto niyang humit-hit ng 50 grams, 100 grams, isang upuan, malamang pwede.
So,
Actually,
ganun ka-absurdo yung batas. Basta ginagamit mo, hindi siya illegal. Pero pag hawak mo lang, illegal na bigla.
yun ang problema. Na there's no opportunity for that provision on use, which is really just going to lead into rehabilitation to take effect. Because it says na kung nahulihan kang may possession, at mind you, Leloy, yung possession, napakababa nung mga gramo. Ang nakastipulate na gramo sa batas, 10 grams cocaine, 10 grams heroin, 10 grams of MDMA or ecstasy. Kung shabu, 50 grams. Kung marijuana, 500 grams. So kung titingnan mo yan, di ba parang, ano bang 10 grams? Parang ganyan lang. So kung manahulihan ka na may ganito, yung mga pakete, yung mga favorite na pinaplant, di ba? You can be convicted potentially for life imprisonment. Kung 5 to 10 grams, naka-scale yan, mas mababang imprisonment, pero imprisonment pa rin. Lower than 5, meron pa rin. So yan ang problema natin, palagay ko. That there is, na pag nagka-possession ka of drugs, ang pre-presume ng law ay may criminal intent ka magbenta or to participate in another activity. And I feel,
pero malinaw yung prinsipyo behind the law that it actually criminalizes the selling of drugs as opposed to the using of drugs. So.
That's right. So the question is, the middle ground is, which is the most common case, possession of drugs. At ang possession of drugs, nag-err ang law natin on the side of yung presumption na ibebenta mo ito. Which I feel clouds
false.
the perception exactly of people. Kasi kung nahulihan ka ng drug, meron kang drug sa bulsa mo, ano ba yung tatanungin mo sa isang common person? Ay, durog yan, kriminal yan. Ay, potential yan na gumawa ng krimen. And for me, the way the law is drafted can influence, of course, law enforcement. And law enforcement, the way it is carried out, can influence how people think. That's the slippery slope no, na we're going down.
So ano yung remedyo sa tingin mo?
Ang
How
remedyo-
do we rewrite our drug laws?
Ang remedyo for me, feeling ko, is to look at, parang give a second look no, at the current crime of possession of drugs. Kung nagpo-possess ka ng 10 grams of drugs, kailangan ka na bang i-life imprisonment? So that's one thing to look at as well, no? And also, because these are going to be seen as, or perceived as criminals, nadja-justify din kung raratratin na lang sila sa kalsada kasi they will just clog up the courts. Remember, there were, if I remember correctly, statistics-wise, there were around 70,000 new drugs cases filed last year alone.
Hindi kaya ng court sa atin yun.
Hindi kaya ng courts natin alone because there were statistics that came out no na I think there are 4,000 cases pending per branch no of a court no. So malaki
But
talagang
let me
mabigat.
just be clear para dun sa mga DDS dyan, hindi tayo nag-a-advocate ng legalization of drugs. What we are advocating is focus on the big cases para hindi baradong-barado yung court mo dun sa cases na ang baba-baba naman ng level of consumption.
Totoo yan. Kasi syempre, 'di ba yun yung criticism naman minsan ngayon Bakit yung mga sa hudikatura natin puro yung tinatawag na small fry no? Yung tao sa kanto na nahuli ng isang pakete ng shabu. Why are the ones who are really spurning the drug trade no para making it go, making it tick, not being convicted no? And one more answer to your question, ano pang reform na gagawin natin? Siguro kailangan mas madali na pumasok into voluntary rehabilitation. Ito ang procedure under the law natin. Una, magpipresenta ka sa Dangerous Drugs Board. Yung Dangerous Drugs Board, i-refer ka sa korte. Sinabi ko na kung gaano katagal yung court procedure natin. The court will designate a Department of Health accredited physician na i-examine ka at sasabihin, ay, drug-dependent ka, that is qualified for rehabilitation, and afterwards, you stay 6 months in a rehabilitation center. Only then will you be absolved from any criminal liability related to use. Use lang hindi possession, use lang. Kung ako ay isang drug dependent at hindi ho ako drug dependent, no? Ako ay napaka-malinis na tao.
Medyo nalalasing lang po minsan-minsan.
Minsan lang. Pag narinig ng asawa ko to, baka magalit sa akin. Ang mangyayari dyan is, if I'm a drug dependent, bakit ako voluntarily lalapit sa Dangerous Drugs Board na
Napagkatagal-tagal ang proseso.
Napakatagal-tagal ng proseso. Napaka-strict ng requirements. And if merong pumaltos sa isa sa mga requirements at hindi ka nag-qualify for
Kulong ka.
rehabilitation, edi parang inamin ko na ako ay isang drug user. Anong incentive ko, di ba? So kaya it's not, at least to my perception, no, it's not an effective way of encouraging people to go forth.
Okay.
Yan ang napaka-ano, no? Yan yung, I think those two things, no? Yung mga criminalized actions sa drugs law natin at yung procedure to enter into rehabilitation, baka kailangan bigyan ng pangalawang tingin yan.
Okay. Thank you. That's very enlightening for me, Glenn. Marami kami pinag-usapan pero dalawa lang naman yung sinasabi niya. There are low-hanging fruit na pwede nating isolve dito sa drug problem to. Unang-una, yung bouncing checks. Because if we didn't prosecute as many bouncing check cases, we'd actually have time to pay attention to real cases like criminal cases. Real criminal cases. Pangalawa, itong drugs na to, marami sa mga supporters of mass killing and mass violence sa drug crime, sinasabi na kailangan itong gawin dahil wala nang iba pang solusyon. Sasabihin nila, bigyan mo ako ng solusyon na gagana. Well, I brought Glenn onto the show to show to you that there are solutions to the drug problem short of killing people. Kaya ikaw, kung ayaw mo talaga ng drugs, don't go around saying that you want thousands and thousands of your fellow Filipinos dead. Advocate for the kind of legal reform that will allow us to prosecute the big fish and really address this problem in an effective but a humane way. Maraming salamat po.
Thank you.